started in the back last year and had to dodge a bunch of them, and still came away with the win. So starting from the pole, hopefully we can make it a little easier to win this race than it was last year, and hopefully we can get the victory lane for James Finch and Phoenix Racing.
Boucher on the pole, but tomorrow, Dave, Danica Mania hits Daytona officially.
The ARCA race is live on Speed. Yes, it will be Danica's stock car debut. I imagine we might mention that a time or two more before the race starts at 4:30 Eastern Time. Hope you'll check that out. That's going to wrap up this edition of NASCAR Live. We'll come back on the other side and kick off the qualifying practice for the Sprint Cup cars in the Daytona 500. Stay tuned.
Where I come from, synthetic oils are all the same.
Think with your dipstick, Jimmy! Think with your dipstick. Upgrade to Castrol Edge. With 8 times better wear protection than Mobil 1.5 W30, it's more than just oil, it's liquid engineering.
Could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance? Is Ed Too Tall Jones too tall?
I was gonna guesstimate.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
All my business information is just a phone call away. To my wife, who's not answering.
There's a better way. Intuit QuickBooks Online organizes your business in one place and helps you stay on top of your business anytime, anywhere. Get a 30-day free trial at Intuit.com.
My mom mentioned eHarmony, and I just didn't take myself as a guy who really needed the internet. And then I kind of changed my ideas where it wasn't necessarily to get a date, it was to meet the right person.
Now review all your matches absolutely free at eHarmony.com.
Half the calories? All day. Half the calories? All day.
I'm gonna float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I'm gonna float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Sting like a bee.
Half the calories, all the G. I know that's right.
All trucks talk reputation. All trucks talk strength. They all talk craftsmanship. They all talk tough. All trucks talk quality. Our truck backs it up. The most dependable, longest-lasting full-size pickups on the road. Chevy, America's best truck.
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. Big race to get into the line to go out onto the track. It's a big moment at Daytona because these are the Daytona 500 cars, and this is their first opportunity to hit this 2.5-mile speedway, kicking off a new decade of NASCAR racing, 2010. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sprint Cup qualifying practice. The cars will be going out one at a time. You'll have maybe 3 on the track at a time. They don't want to be messing with the draft here. They want to know how much flat-out speed the car has by itself. Let's find out more about what to anticipate during this next very important hour as we go down to Johnny Roberts, Jimmy Spencer, and, what's his name? Kenny Wallace.
Dave, thanks a lot. Mr. Excitement and Ken Wallace down here as well. And guys, with the absence of preseason testing here at Daytona, this practice session takes on a whole new meaning. But Kenny, what's going through the driver's mind when he first hits the track?
Right now, the motor builder is telling the driver, okay, I want you to go second gear, give me 8,500. Third gear, 8,100. The driver has to hit his shifts right now in the first practice session. That's what's going to be on the driver's mind, Spence, hitting his gears perfectly.
He also has to, no computers in these cars. He has to tell the crew chief, this is what I got. This is the bounce I've got in this part of the racetrack. The other thing he has to do is has to hit his marks. Very, very important. The other thing you got to worry about is some dummy's going to pull out in front of you. You're going to say, I don't think he's helping me. Yes, he is. You will not get an absolute clean lap, and that will frustrate everybody. But you know what? I think it's exciting because we're going to have the front row is very important. Top 35's in. But it's the guys that have to get in on speed. That's the critical thing. If they don't get their car up to speed, they're not going to make the Daytona 500 until they have a shot Thursday.
And also they have a shot a little later on at the pole for the Daytona 500, which is a big deal. Pole! You get to be pole sitter all week long. and people are going to be talking about the pole. All right, let's go to Randy Beverly for his final thoughts. Randy?
Yeah, we talked about the pending weather coming in, and it's for real. It's going to get here, as a matter of fact. You know, I just thought I'd give you a glimpse of this. Is Michael Waltrip getting ready to roll out. He's the last guy I could find in line. There's a good chance he doesn't get a qualifying lap in here this afternoon. So very important to get out there, check your stuff out, get a good lap in. But Bill Elliott right in front of him might not get out. I'm not sure if Michael Waltrip will get out either. He certainly hopes so. Bob Dillner?
Randy, that's a very interesting point because Robbie Gordon's car actually sits here in the garage area. And I saw Robbie walk up to the car and I said, man, how come you're not online already? He said, you know what it takes to get this car ready for qualifying? It takes so many things that they do, little tricks of the trade like pulling the brake pads back and heating up the oil and so forth. He knows there's weather impending here today at Daytona. He might only get one run, but he wants that one run to be really good for this Monster Energy drink number 7. Dave?
So, who might have enough speed to sit on the front row for the Daytona 500? The top 2 positions will be locked in the qualifying time trial laps tomorrow. From there back, starting positions determined by those exciting Gatorade dual races on Thursday, which, of course, you will see only on Speed. Here's the other key factor. For the drivers who are not locked in, that top 35 and owners points, those guys have to find speed today and tomorrow that they may be able to fall back on if they need it after the duels on Thursday. It is a complex qualifying procedure, but the bottom line is it's all about having a fast car. And we find out how fast the cars are when we come back on the other side of the commercial break. We'll be joining Mike Joy and the boys in the booth for the first run for the Daytona 500 cars of the brand new racing season. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
There's a reason for the sunshine sky, and there's a reason why I'm feeling so high. Must be the season.
You get more power and more space. The world gets fewer smog-forming emissions. The third-generation Prius. It's harmony between man, nature, and machine.
Would you like to spend a little more time and a little less money? Then check out Bass Pro Shops for great deals on great gear. Save 20% on original Stren fishing line, and the Garmin Nuvi 255W is only $149.94.
The way I see it, all synthetic oils are the same.
Think with your dipstick, Jimmy! Think with your dipstick. Upgrade to Castrol Edge. With 8 times better wear protection than Mobil 1.5W30, it's more than just oil, it's liquid engineering.
Let's talk about putting our best square foot forward. Then let's do more than talk about it. Let's turn picturing it into planning it. Thinking it over into making it happen. Let's say out with the old and in with the new. Let's create some wall-to-wall wow. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Right now, get any carpet installed for just $97. Any brand, any style, any number of rooms.
This is where everything you love about racing all comes together at once. This is the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series.
You're watching Speed Week's coverage presented by Hershey's Milk and Milkshakes. Cars are on the line, ready to roll in the first of 2 scheduled practice sessions, pre-qualifying practice for Daytona 500 pole qualifying Saturday on Fox. This is the story of the weather. Ignore the graphic and look at the dark clouds because the car wash is coming. It's going to be here in about 50 minutes. And there's a good chance that we might lose that second practice session today to rain. But we know better than to predict the weather. We predict a lot of things, and sometimes we're right and sometimes we're not. Hi, everybody. Mike Joy, Larry McReynolds, Darrell Waltrip with you. So does a sense of urgency develop here, Darrell? Because chances are we're going to have a good racetrack for 45 minutes to an hour here.
No, this is when I'm going to find out if my buddy crew chief here, this is the best car we've ever had. This is the best motor we've ever had. We got this baby right. You go out there, you're going to run a fast lap right off the truck.
All right, all falls on your shoulders.
But the problem is, if it's not the best package, I'm not sure what we can really do, because we're here and we've got 2 supposedly scheduled hour-and-a-half practice sessions. We always say it, even though you've worked for months and weeks to get here for Speed Weeks, what you've got is pretty close to what you've got. But there's a lot of people anxious to get on the racetrack because we do have some differences. Even though 24 teams had practice last night in the Budweiser Shootout, it's a different deal. These are single-car practice qualifying runs. We've got that little bigger restrictor plate. We've got different rear shocks. We've got a little different aero package and a lot of new race cars that's never seen the racetrack before.
See, that's the thing. If the driver didn't realize that he had a bigger restrictor plate, he'd go out and he'd say, hot dang, this thing on motor, baby.
I told you the engine shop's been working.
All right, cars are lined up. Denny Hamlin's first in the practice line. Mark Martin right near the front, and right behind him, since the reigning Sprint Cup champion, Jimmy Johnson. For an update on Jimmy, here's Matt Yoakum.
Mike, it's much like when you're trying to erase all the information on your computer and you hit Control, Alt, Delete. Well, that's pretty much what's taking place with the NASCAR season as we kick off with our first official season practice going for the Daytona 500 speeds later on. Now, we talked about Jimmy Johnson. He's trying to add to history. Everyone else trying to keep him from it. Now, a lot of concern up and down the garage lane here. Weather. You talked about it earlier. Weather coming in. They're not sure if they're going to get a second practice session. And just how big is the breeze? Well, you can see how gusty the American flag is up on top of the U.S. Army truck. Everyone trying to get as much done as they can in this practice session. To Chris Devoda.
Well, Matt, as we said, the objective of this practice, get the most speed as you can out of your car. The driver who did that best last year, Martin Truex Jr. But the irony is, with the new rules, he's not in the Bud Shootout. So this will be the first time we will see him and his new organization, his new team, and his new crew chief, Pat Trison. I talked to Pat just a few moments ago. He said the camaraderie between he and Martin is great. And Martin Truex said he is as excited for the start of this season as he has been in a long time.
Thanks, Krista. Let's explain that number change. The first of many we'll explain to you today. Michael Waltrip ran 55, and he's turned over the full-time wheel of his car. Michael is here competing, and Martin Truex, rather than maintain the tradition of the 55, let's do something just a little different. What number did his dad race up north, and his grandfather, his uncle, and all the Truex family ran in what was the Busch North Series with number 56. So there you are.
And it's kind of cool because Rudiman's family has had the 00 number for 100 years. Buzzy ran it in the modified division, and David has it. Here, Martin's got the 56. Michael, on the other hand, he's a little confused. He thought,
and this is, go ahead.
He thought he was going to be number 15, but something must have gotten messed up in the decal department because he's actually number 51. That supposedly is, he wanted to be 15, but it turned out to be 51.
You know, something I think we need to explain is, as we mentioned, we're going to see single car practice qualifying runs. And the theory is, with this restrictor plate and the way the draft works, you don't want to even be able to see a race car when you're out there, because if you see it, there's more than likely it is helping and aiding your speed. But the track is open for practice. This is pretty much just a gentleman's agreement between the drivers and teams that we will take turns going out there, about 3 to 4 cars at a time. But trust me, if the rain starts moving in and we get down to about 10 minutes to go in practice, they'll be all over this racetrack.
As Denny Hamlin exits turn 4, Mark Martin's in the middle of the backstretch. Now, Hamlin had a rough crash yesterday. He and Martin got tangled up, and 6 of the Bud Shootout cars were wrecked as a result. Both going to backup cars for the running of the race tomorrow night. But these are not the same cars that anybody practiced here yesterday for the Bud Shootout.
Yeah, in fact, the way the rules are, they had those 2 practices last night. By the time the garage closes tonight, those 24 cars that'll be in the Budweiser Shootout, they have to be through inspection, and they go through inspection tonight, and NASCAR impounds them and releases them to the teams before the race tomorrow night.
Talked to Rick Hendrick this morning, and Rick said, we've got 60 COTs. I hope I don't use them all up before the race.
New sponsor for Mark for most of the races this year, GoDaddy.com. That will also have a presence in the IZOD IndyCar Series and the NASCAR Nationwide Series.
And by the way, I don't want to get too deep into this practice. Happy birthday, Darrell Waltrip. Today.
Thank you very much. Yeah, my birthday, we're usually down here a little bit later, and so I get to celebrate at home with my family. But today, I'm in Daytona doing what I love to do.
You're celebrating it with my
Fox
buds.
family. That's right.
And your Speed family.
Thank you.
Jimmy Johnson, as Matt said, trying to add to one of the most impressive championship dynasties in NASCAR history. 4 in a row with the Lowe's Chevrolet, and this team pretty much returns intact from 2009. Saw Rick Hendrick this afternoon. He is here and at the track, feeling well and ready to get this season started.
I tell you, the adjustments they made to these cars, Larry, the little bit different shock package on the rear, and I don't know if the fin has that much to do with it or not, but these cars have a little bit lower racing look to them than what I remember them having here last year. These cars have always kind of set up high in the back end, but you look at these cars now, they're pretty flat and pretty low in the back, actually.
Well, and you know, now we have to run the curved end plates on the wing where we used to have to run the flat ones at Daytona and Talladega. That actually adds a little downforce. The more downforce you put in the rear of the car, the more that holds it down too.
Yeah, you see Jimmy's car coming there. It's almost got the back down, kind of like the old hunkered down look that the cars had here a few years ago.
We're just getting started with the opening round of pre-qualifying practice for the Daytona 500. Mark Martin has the fastest lap so far.
NASCAR's back, and we're there in Daytona for a pair of races on the high banks. The Gatorade Duel. Be there live as the hammer comes down. Rivalries reignite. And when the smoke clears, the field is set for the 500. The Gatorade Duel at Daytona. Thursday, live at 2 p.m. Eastern. The season starts here. NASCAR on speed. Be there.
I'd like the sirloin, chicken and pork too, all wrapped in bacon, and all for around $10.
Security! You can't match Golden Corral's Applewood Grill. It's sirloin, chicken breast, and our new scallops, all with Applewood bacon, all for around $10. Only at Golden Corral.
Women love chocolate. A heart-shaped box of chocolate is a must. That heart-shaped box of chocolates goes a long way. I'd love to get a heart-shaped box on Valentine's Day.
Don't give her just any chocolates. Give her Russell Stover chocolates with the famous Russell Stover bow.
I'm Roger. The images from Haiti are heartbreaking. Homes, hospitals, and schools are destroyed. Families searching for loved ones. Parents trying to feed their children. But we can all do something. We can help the American Red Cross as it delivers the food, water, and medicine that can save lives. Donate $10 by texting Haiti to 90999. Visit redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS. Thanks for your help.
Enough of this HD talk from those satellite guys. Let's get some things straight. Comcast has more HD than satellite. More favorite shows in HD. More movies in HD. And oh yeah, Comcast has 2,600 on-demand choices in HD, which is way more than satellite. Plus tons of live sports. All the best channels, all in HD. Bottom line, Comcast always has more HD than satellite. Sign up now to get Comcast Digital TV with HD for a great price. Just call 1-800-COMCAST.
The way you test.
Presentation of NASCAR Sprint Cup practice is brought to you by Hershey's Milk and Milkshakes. Try a new way to indulge in Hershey's. By DirecTV. To get the most out of your high-def TV, you got to hook it up to DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. And by Toyota. Moving forward.
Now, folks, I know if you just tune in, kind of watch a little practice here, this is not NASCAR's way of keeping these guys from wrecking again today. This is kind of like practice your qualifying runs. It's not because of what happened here yesterday. They're not letting them all out there at once.
Joey Logano, 6th driver to complete a lap on the clock in his Home Depot Toyota. Mark Martin is quickest. Denny Hamlin is 2nd, and Logano is only a 10th and a half off of Denny Hamlin's time, his teammate. off to a pretty good start.
He's won about everything that he's run since we left Homestead.
Yeah.
But he won the Bodine Bobsled Challenge a couple of weeks ago up in Lake Placid, won at Irwindale the other night in the K&N series of NASCAR. Everything he's touched since he left Homestead, he's won in.
Watching the 31 car here, I see one reason why he might be fast. That thing is, you know how they've been running the car sideways at some of the downforce tracks, cocked out to the right rear. If you watch this car head on, you'll see it's turned to the left. The back of the car is actually pushed toward the left, which is doing just the opposite. If you make downforce pushing it to the right, you're going to make less downforce pushing it to the left. So they've got the reversed angled rear end housing in this baby.
And there's a really good chance, since this is not an impound type race, once they get this car qualified, to get it ready to race, because handling such issues here, they'll probably change that housing out.
See, as you watch it come to see how much closer the right front fender is to the wall and how far away the right rear quarter panel is.
It's almost like it's fallen down the bank.
Yeah.
At the rear.
It actually it looks weird right there. It's actually running. Well, you can't call that sideways.
Not quite.
That's that's a reverse slip. It's a reverse slip angle.
Interesting theory. How does the watch like it? Well, first was that his first lap? 48.78 it was. He's got one to go.
Yeah.
Kurt Busch in the blue deuce, the Miller Lite Dodge. How about them yellow wheels?
And they had blue wheels on this thing for forever. And I didn't really like them all that much, and I'm gonna have to get used to this. A little different.
Now,
won't be able to find his wheels in the garage, all right?
Easily.
Kurt's on his second lap. His first lap was a 48.54. And as they get to the second lap, which will be the money lap, the fastest lap, you'll see him run right around the bottom, trying to run the shortest distance around this 2.5-mile track.
Since we started running, or since Kurt Busch started running restrictor plate races in the number 2 for Roger Penske, he has scored more points in those races than any other driver. Total cumulative points.
And he runs well. I mean, he was in that very first Daytona 500 that we did back in 2001, and he always performs well. But as you see, and the numbers are the same at Talladega, 0 wins at the restrictor plate tracks.
He helped his teammate win one here 2 years ago, though.
He did that.
He pushed Ryan Newman right by Tony Stewart and his teammate.
Jeff Gordon. Big news in the Gordon household. They are expecting, Jeff and Ingrid expecting their second child this summer. Congratulations.
Yep.
We got a lot of expectant mothers in the motor coach lot. Ingrid Gordon, Shani Johnson, Jimmy and Shani expecting their first child. Elliott Sadler, his family expecting their first child here anytime.
That was a real good lap, man. You're P2 right now.
Second fastest to his teammate Mark Martin by not quite 0.2 of a second.
I'm surprised Jeff didn't say, well, it wasn't that good of a lap if I'm P2.
Matt?
And Mark Martin in that 5-car, fastest so far early on in practice. You came on the radio really pleased, and a good way to start this practice in the season.
These guys build such nice race cars, and it's beautiful. I like the green. GoDaddy.com on there, and everybody needs to check us out on GoDaddy.com, by the way. And yeah, it's a good start, fast. You know, I don't have much to do with that part of it, so I'm tickled to death. Their hard work, you know, it looks like it's going to pay off.
New sponsor this year, also a new workout program for you. You've kind of changed things up a little bit.
Yeah, it changed. I've learned a few things and added a few things. And
what's the result?
Lean and mean. I'm still little, but I am lean. So I'm ready to go.
All right, thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Isn't it funny how he just jumped in that car and went out and spanked him right away, right off the bat. Well, he's no longer the sheriff in town. That belongs to his other teammate, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Just ripped off the fastest lap so far.
The trucks are back. We're there for the battle at Daytona, for the crashes and high-banked excitement. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Next Friday, live at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. NASCAR on Speed. Be there.
Passing
calories? All the day. Half the calories? All the day.
I'm gonna float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I'm gonna float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Sting like a bee.
Half the calories, all the G. I know that's right.
Most people make resolutions based on what they see on the outside. This year, focus on what's inside and let Cheerios help tackle your cholesterol. Now, you could win a free box to get started.
Where I come from, synthetic oils are all the same.
Think with your dipstick, Jimmy! Think with your dipstick. Upgrade to Castrol Edge. With 8 times better wear protection than Mobil 1.5W30, it's more than just oil, it's liquid engineering.
Scientists are baffled. Savage winds, rain, countries everywhere are preparing for the worst. The gods are angry.
From the director of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Whoa!
Did that really just happen? On February 12th. What's going on? The war is coming. When 2 worlds collide. There's no escape from heaven and earth. One hero. You are the son of Poseidon. No way. Must stand and fight. Percy Jackson and the Olympians. The Lightning Thief. Rated PG. President's Day.
Dale Jr., the fastest car of the 14 that have logged laps so far. We'll let you do your own over-under on how many cars are entered for this year's Daytona 500, and we'll tell you after the next break.
You know what's interesting about those 15 cars? There's not a Ford in near one of them. All those cars have been out so far. Is there an oval in there anywhere, blue oval?
There's a couple there.
Yeah, David Reagan's been out. He's 11th quickest, and Paul Menard is 13th quickest.
But you're right, in the top 10, Darrell,
yeah,
not yet.
Hadn't cracked the top 10 yet.
And we, I think they and everybody had high hopes for Ford's new engine.
Yeah, well, they're gonna, you know, it's funny, they're gonna run the new engine in all the preliminary events. But when they get ready to run the 500, they're gonna put the old engine back in.
Okay.
And Jamie McMurray back driving for Chip Ganassi with Felix Sabates. He is 9th quickest in this one car. Jamie's one of about 6 drivers that will have to go to a backup car for the Budweiser Shootout tomorrow night. Was involved in a crash in the first practice.
Brian Vickers will find himself still searching for speed. He's about half a second off of what Dale Jr. ran, and he's at the wrong end of the chart along with Marcus Ambrose there and Paul Menard.
You know, looking at this scoring monitor, you see 3 Hendrick cars, 1, 2, 3, and then Jimmy Johnson is 6th. And we always talk about, especially with no testing now in January, that there's a lot of anticipation coming down here. And I talked to Chad Knaus and Jimmy Johnson both, and you know, they were off last year at the restrictor plate tracks. Jimmy did finish 2nd here in the July race, but he said, I just got my car driving good. So that right now, at least in the early stages, I think that's got to make that group feel pretty good that they're at the top of the speed charts.
You know, it's something that's sort of interesting to me. Think about all the things they've done to the cars to make them run faster down here. Last year in the first practice, Bill Elliott was the quickest at a 47.96. Right now we're only at a 40. That's 2/10 quicker, and there's a lot more than that in these cars.
Well, and you know, Darrell, that if they didn't do anything, that these guys will find a little more horsepower. It may only be 1 or 2 or 3, but they always do, because some of these teams are working on these restrictor plate engines nonstop. But there's a few things that they did to it that actually added drag to the car. The shark fin being bigger and extending down the length of the deck lid, that added a little bit of drag. The end plates, the curved end plates, added a little bit of drag. That's one of the reasons they elected to up the plate by a 64th of an inch, because of the aero drag that they picked up. There's the end plate. Last year, at all the other tracks besides Daytona and Talladega, you have an option of running a flat end plate right there where you see the DuPont, or you have the option of running the curved one. Well, last year at the restrictor plate tracks, they mandated that you had to run that spoiler or that wing at 10 degrees. This gurney lip right there has to be an inch tall, and you had to run flat end plates. That's one of the things they changed this year, is you have to run curved end plates on the wing.
Could we look at that from the top down, that end plate, and just to get an idea of the curvature of it? And there's maybe the one closest to us. There you can see how it's curved, and it's got kind of a wing shape instead of just being flat straight across. And that difference in profile where that bulges out, that's going to add a little bit of drag.
Well, what added the most drag of all the things they did is that gurney lip.
Well, now that's actually the same. Yeah.
And
we run 3/16 of an inch at the downforce tracks, 1 inch at Daytona, Talladega.
And I can't see how that fin, I don't see where that would have added drag. I could see how it would maybe in yaw, but I don't see how it would hurt the car so much in a straight line.
The big thing, though, was the curved end plates that added some aero drag, and they upped that restrictor plate hole by 64th. How significant is a 64th? It's about 12 to 14 horsepower. This is the biggest restrictor plate, though, that we've run here since the 1989 Daytona 500.
89. Oh, yeah. 89.
I remember that one.
This is the Daytona 500.
Yes, it is. All right, how many entries for this year's Daytona 500? Stick around. We'll tell you after the break.
NASCAR's back, and we're there in Daytona as the hammer comes down and rivalries reignite. The Gatorade Duel at Daytona, Thursday, live at 2 p.m. Eastern. NASCAR on Speed. Be there.
The best party in Miami Beach is the Hooters Super Pool Party, January 28th through February 7th. If you can't be there, log on to Hooters.com and be part of all the fun. Get to Hooters this Sunday for the big game where you might win a 40-inch Sharp Aquos high-def TV. One TV will be given away at every Hooters February 7th. And if you're into tailgating, order your wings to fly. Make Hooters a part of your game plan.
We are building a website by ourselves.
There's an easier way. Create your own business site with Intuit Websites. Just choose a style, then customize, publish, and get found. Sweet. Get a 30-day free trial at Intuit.com.
Need a lift?
Hey, buddy, I appreciate the ride, you know?
No problem. Mind if I take a shortcut?
Yeah, sure.
I knew the Subaru Legacy was the smart choice. What I didn't expect was the fun.
The Subaru Legacy. Feel the love.
Michael Phelps fuels up with the mega tasty Subway Turkey Melt, a protein-packed powerhouse with bubbly cheese on freshly baked bread. Subway, eat fresh.
Top speeds, pretty much as when we left you. Denny Hamlin, 5th on that list, was the first car to go on track. There are 44 cars in line to go out, and at the back of that line, the first driver who will make a second run today will be Jimmy Johnson. That is unless somebody decides to shoot the line and do what every driver can't stand. I mean on the road. Somebody cutting up to the front of the merge and ignoring everyone who has patiently waited their turn. But that's the way it goes. And oh, by the way, 43 cars will start the Daytona 500. 54 cars are here to attempt to make the Great American Race. Last year it was what, 58 last year? 56 last year. 54 this year, 56 last year, and the record is 60 some. I mean in recent times.
You had 64 in 1995.
Yeah. So, but it's not unusual to have an incredible amount of cars here for the Daytona 500.
Right.
And people come here when they can't go anywhere else. You know, we've had 90 days. You can make a 90-day note if you have to get down here. I've done that, by the way, and hope that I won enough money when I got here that I could pay the note off when I got back home.
And did you?
Didn't always work out that way either.
Right.
But people come here when they can't go anywhere else.
Well, you know, this race is so different from the other 3 restrictor plate races. We go back to Talladega twice and back here in July. You better be fast on qualifying day. You still want to be that, but you've got another shot at getting your car to drive good on the Gatorade Dual races next Thursday that will be on speed. And we see a lot of times it's not the fast cars that get in, it's the car that gets their car driving good.
Carl Edwards 19th quickest. Here's Matt.
Mike, Kurt Busch just climbed back inside the Blue Deuce. The temperatures have come down. The team has made some changes. His biggest complaint to crew chief Steve Addington during the break here from his first run, the car wandered a little bit more than he was used to, and he also noted that the left side skirt hit the racetrack, so they trimmed that when he brought that back in. Then they placed some small tabs right behind and in front of the jack post just to see how much that left side skirt is hitting. And just to give you an update, Larry Mack, on the weather, as far as the wind conditions go, the last 2-minute average, 10 miles per hour, and then you factor in some big gusts that we've had coming through every so often, so the wind definitely could play a factor.
And Matt, the reason that car is wandering a little bit, of course, it's windy, that's going to move it around maybe a little bit more, but what you try to do, and Larry knows this, is you have zero toe in the car. In other words, both front tires are zero straight ahead. Try to take as much drag out of the car, out of the tires, as you possibly can. As a matter of fact, you may even tow them in just a skosh because of deflection in the tie rods and then, you know, whatever else, so that when it's going down the racetrack, the front tires are just running straight as an arrow down the track.
And what they may do, and I agree totally, that could be, and probably is what Kurt's feeling, he may put a little bit of toe out in it. If Kurt says that feels better, but that stopwatch slows down, put that toe out back in again.
Well, I can assure you with toe it drives better because it stabilizes the steering wheel is what it does when you got a little toe in it. But it'll run faster with no toe or towed in just a tick. After all, you only got to drive it 2 laps.
That's right. A.J. Allmendinger in the Richard Petty Motorsports, number 43. Want to send best wishes to Richard's wife, Linda. She's had a rough go of it and has been hospitalized, and hope that she's doing well, and the King and their whole family.
And you know, it came late in the game, but essentially there's Dale Inman that has won this race many times with Richard Petty as his crew chief. The merger with Yates and Richard Petty Motorsports did come to fruition. You see they are running Fords here, and the 4 drivers now will be A.J. Allmendinger, Casey Kane, Elliott Sadler, and Paul Menard.
And when you look at Dale Inman, we just had a shot of there, that's Chad Knaus's guy that he's trying to catch. That's right. Because Dale has, what, 8 championships?
Yeah, with a couple of drivers.
With Terry Labonte and Richard.
Now, NASCAR on Speed is always on with NASCAR on Speed Broadband, a free super site for the hardcore fan. Get the best of NASCAR on Speed, plus exclusive videos you can't get anywhere else. Log on now to the video section of SpeedTV.com or NASCAR.com.
This little piggy can carry 1,470 pounds of straw. This little piggy can carry 1,575 pounds of twigs. And then along came the big bad wolf. 1,873 pounds of payload. Our most powerful half-ton V8 ever. Never sent a truck to do a Sierra's job. The 2010 GMC Sierra Crew. May the best truck win.
Looking for an edge to get into love overpowers reason. How far would you go?
Our daughters, they're gone.
To get back what you've lost.
What if they could come back? She's a perfect copy.
An all-new original series, Caprica. All new every Friday at 9. Only on Sci-Fi. Imagine greater.
Brought to you locally by Expression College for Digital Arts. Make your passion your profession. Visit expression.edu to sign up for the February 6th open house.
And now, your homecoming queen is Becca Weiniger.
True beauty. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Latitude blades contour to hug the windshield for greater visibility and virtually no streaking. So it's like weather never happened. Get the #1 rated Rain-X Latitude blade now at Walmart.
Tomorrow, the most anticipated ARCA event of the year takes the green flag on speed. Danica Patrick rolls off 12th in her competitive stock car debut here on the high banks of Daytona. Defending race winner James Buescher starts from the pole tomorrow, 4:30 Eastern, only on speed. Bobby Labonte has moved over to TRG Motorsports. Actually ran some races for them at the end of last year for Kevin Buckler's group, and he has the TaxSlayer.com Chevrolet out on track.
He's one team that's outside the top 35, but we know regardless he will be in the Daytona 500. We have two past champions outside the top 35, Bobby Labonte and Bill Elliott, but Bobby's the most recent champion.
Man, that thing, holy smoly.
So he is one of 36 drivers who know they will be in the Daytona 500. And there was a lot of late off-season shuffling, if you will, of car owner point positions, so that all of the top 35 owner points positions from last year are now filled with teams that will take the green flag in 2010.
Well, that thing's bucking around like a horse. I mean, every time it hits a bump, it kind of porpoises backwards and forth. Sparks fly out from under it. They must have the rear bleeds and those shocks there wide open.
Yeah, we talk about NASCAR mandating the rate of the rear springs at a 500 rate in left and right. For the race, you can put a little more in the right rear. They issue the rear shocks to the teams to qualify and race, but they are adjustable. You can adjust them a little bit to change how they feel and how they go across the bumps.
Labonte, despite how that car looked, Darrell, just laid down the 12th fastest lap of the day.
Yeah, it's bottoming out a lot. They get that fixed, it'll pick up a little speed.
Travis Kvapil is in the number 37 Ford for 2010. Now, this is one of the cars that was involved in these owner point swaps. Their team, front row, along with Robert Richardson Jr. is here in the 38. The 37 and 38 have merged with what was Yates Racing, which we thought had merged with Richard Petty Motorsports, but that deal became pretty complicated in that the points that Yates Racing earned last year with their 96 and 98 cars, now those transfer to this number 37 and the 38. So basically, they're in the top 35.
And who really got hurt on that whole deal was Red Bull Racing Scott Speed in 82. They thought one of these top 35 teams was going to completely go away. Since they finished 36, they would have slid in, but now they're going to have to race their way in and qualify their way in the first 5 races. It guarantees you in the first 5 races of the new season.
I can only recall one time when somebody has actually gone away, and I think that was the Ganassi deal, one of his cars that they
did. A 41 card.
They did
kind of disappear.
Yeah, there was a 41 or one of those. Yeah, one of those cars.
Matt?
Mike, catching up with Casey Kane, currently 26 fastest. So, Casey, you've talked to Kenny Francis. What are some of the things you guys are going to work on after your initial run?
Well, I guess they're going to try a little bit with the Ford engine, and we're going to make some front spring changes. Looking at some of the other cars, some are softer, some are stiffer, so and some are faster. So it's hard to say which way to really go, but we're going to try something different and just kind of go from there and see if we can pick up a little bit of speed for tomorrow.
Well, the good news, you had a very successful night last night on the dirt.
Yeah, the guys started off to another great season right off the bat with Joey Saldana, Budweiser car winning. Looked really good, so it should be a fun year in the sprint cars as well.
All right, thanks, Casey.
Thanks.
32 cars have taken time. Dale Earnhardt Jr. still tops the list over Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon.
Truckers know towing 10,000 pounds up a steep grade ain't good for your tranny. And when the heat's on, failure ain't an option. This truck's got a 6-speed aluminum tranny and a big old dedicated fluid cooler. So when it's cooking on the outside, this truck won't break a sweat. Holy smoke. Available in the full-size Tundra. The truck that's changing it all.
The way I see it, all synthetic oils are the same.
Oh, think with your dipstick, Jimmy! Think with your dipstick. Upgrade to Castrol Edge. With 8 times better wear protection than Mobil 15W30. It's more than just oil, it's liquid engineering.
Are you ready to go grab life by the gills? Then check out Bass Pro Shops for great deals on great gear. Like Bass Pro XTS lures for only $2.99 and Redhead hooded fleece pullovers for only $19.94.
Let's talk about putting our best square foot forward. Then let's do more than talk about it. Let's turn picturing it into planning it. Thinking it over into making it happen. Let's say out with the old and in with the new. Let's create some wall-to-wall wow. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Right now, get any carpet installed for just $97. Any brand, any style, any number of rooms.
What's it worth to be part of a legend? Can you place a value on a great memory? What's the going rate for witnessing history? At the Daytona 500, $55 is all you need to experience the power, pageantry, and history of the great American race. Just call 1-800-PIT-SHOP or visit Daytona500.com.
Speed's coverage of NASCAR Sprint Cup practice is brought to you by Alien vs. Predator, 2010's biggest multi-species, multiplayer event. Never been to one of those. Here's Ryan Newman for Stewart Haas Motorsports. After a great run in making the chase and in the chase last year. We were talking about the teams that had to go away, and it was part of the Ganassi Racing and DEI, Dale Earnhardt Incorporated merger, where DEI had previously absorbed the assets of Bobby Ginn Racing. And the 13 and 14 that Joe Nemechek and Sterling Marlin had driven, those cars had to go away, and I don't believe either the points from either of those cars were allowed to be transferred elsewhere when those two teams merged. It's very complicated as far as what happens during the off season. But basically it comes down to this. If a team finishes in the top 35 in points, owner points, they acquire, that's point standing is an asset. It's an asset to that team, and they are allowed, if they're not going to continue to run that team, they are allowed to transfer that interest to another entity and presumably receive compensation for it.
As far as I can tell, it's a convoluted way of having franchising. I mean, when you get right down, when you reduce it all down, an owner has something of value that he can sell or he can market or he can do whatever.
Exactly. That's the way the owner develops equity.
Exactly.
Because we've all seen teams in the last 10 years that where owners retired or went out of business, and all they were left with were a pile of old cars and parts and equipment.
And you had to auction it off
right.
at 50 cents on the dollar if you were lucky. So, you know, sometimes I don't understand it, but certainly I appreciate what they're doing for the owners.
Yeah, it's a good thing for the owners. It gives them some equity besides just the equipment they own. And sorry if we belabor the point trying to explain who got what and where they got it from. The main point is there are 35 cars that will be locked into the first 5 races based on last year's owner points, and it won't necessarily be the teams that earned those points in 2009.
In the value of that, but aside from your sponsor being at these racetracks, monetarily, when you think about the first 5 races, which includes the Daytona 500, it's about $500,000 guaranteed purse if you finish dead last in the first 5 events.
$1 million bill was fastest in this practice session a year ago, I believe, and he just clicked off the 4th fastest lap of the day, and Elliott is by far the fastest Ford with that run for the Wood brothers.
You know, one thing that I didn't realize is Bill Elliott is 54 years old. He's been doing this a long time, and it just doesn't seem like it's been that long to me.
No. Krista?
Well, Mike, at the top of this practice session, I talked about the camaraderie, how they're already gelling in the 56 unit. So how about this? We're not talking to just the driver. We're going to get the crew chief, Pat Tryson, over here, too. How is the car, Martin? And obviously, you know a little something about speed here at Daytona, last year's pole sitter.
Yeah, the car is a little bit slow right now, but we just need to make it drive better and not worry about the speed. You know, you kind of got what you got speed-wise when you get here, and I don't think Pat came here putting all his effort and all his eggs into the qualifying basket. I think some of the best cars I've ever had here in the race, I've qualified in the 30s, so we'll see what happens, but so far everything's going okay. We're just trying to get the car driving a little better.
I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, too. I don't know, how good is this driver that you've got? You talked about camaraderie. That's what you said right before this practice session.
He's as good as anybody I worked with, so, you know, I mean, obviously Mark and Kurt both made the chase with them, so, you know, we expect the same kind of results this year, you know, win some races. and get the Napa Toyota in the chase and see what happens.
Awesome. Some pretty powerful words from Pat there. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
39 cars have now been on track as rain looms to the west. Bill Elliott cracks the top 5. So does Ryan Newman.
12 screaming engines breathing hard. It's a sound you better get used to because Bull Run returns for a new season. We'll see who puts it on the line and who's just spinning their wheels. Bull Run, one hell of a ride this February, exclusively on Speed.
Do you have NASCAR dreams? Here's where to start. Go to uslegendcars.com now to find out how easy it is to get in the race. See where you stack up against the most promising drivers in the country.
I want to go as far as I can, you know, all the way to Sprint Cup.
Me, Reed, David, there's a lot of guys that run a lot of Legends cars growing up, racing against each other that we still are now.
10 years ago, if you'd have said all 3 of us would be at this level, you probably wouldn't believe it.
There's no better place to get seen.
This is where NASCAR's future stars begin to shine. Go to uslegendcars.com now to find out how you can get in on the action.
Next. Come on, I haven't got all day here. It doesn't come with peppers. You know, you told me you wanted mustard. You, back of the line.
Excuse me.
What?
Great sandwich. Thanks.
Compliments. Pass them on. From the Foundation for a Better Life.
Free rental car and sushi with my girl at 7.
Don't let expensive repairs hold you back. Get Mogi, extended vehicle protection customized just for you. Insurance covers accidents, but what if your car breaks down? Mogi is the other half of coverage, protecting you from expensive repairs. Just take your car to a licensed repair shop and we pay the bill. It's that simple. We're not like the other guys. Mogi gives you real benefits that give you peace of mind. Visit our website and get the facts. Log on and get a real quote in writing before you buy. Cars break down. It's a fact. But with Mogi, you can keep your car and be worry-free. Call now and ask how you can save hundreds of dollars on coverage.
Call 1-888-959-6644. That's 1-888-959-6644.
Mogi, life warrants more.
All right, so maybe you got a no thanks from American Idol this time around. Get this. Speed is searching for the next big showbiz stars. Singers, comedians, dancers, novelty acts. Rutledge, put your hand down. To audition, call 1-877-909-3883 or email, it's the name of the show, fasttracktofame2010@gmail.com. And you could be coming to a Sprint Cup racetrack, appearing on the speed stage, and auditioning for our panel of judges. Wow. This is going to be fun.
Yep. I've always wanted to do that with the drivers, like a karaoke show, you know. Because a lot of them down there think they can sing. A lot of them down there probably think they can dance.
Wow.
And so, you know, I always thought it'd be fun to have a karaoke show.
Well, as we watch Joe Nemechek, Krista's with a fellow who can do both.
Well, actually, I was going to say, Daryl, you're speaking my language. I love karaoke, so we could turn this into a whole different kind of show here. Elliot agrees. But we'll go ahead and talk about race cars and the Daytona 500 specifically. If I remember right, if those raindrops last year would have fell just a few minutes earlier, you would have won the Daytona 500.
Yeah, I pretty much have run that thought through my mind pretty much every day since it happened last year. Just 15 seconds from being Daytona 500 champion, and it was cool to run that good. It was cool to lead laps. I just wish we could have held on. It was Stanley's first ever time in the Daytona 500. So they come back a year later, back with Ford, back with Doug Yates racing engines. So we'll see if we can put ourselves in that situation again and hopefully have a little bit better outcome. But you know, this is the race of all races. You race to win, and you can see how it changed people's lives, and you can see it on their face when they win it for the first time. So I definitely want to experience that one time in my career.
All right, Sadler and Ford back together. That was a pretty successful combination. Thanks, Elliot.
Thanks, Krista. Another new face in the top 5, Robbie Gordon, is now 5th on the board with a 47.90.
By far the fastest Toyota. And, you know, I talked to Robbie yesterday during media day here, and Robbie gave me some interesting information that I had not even heard rumors about. He said that 7 car will be here for every race in 2010, but a very good chance he will not. He's working on some other stuff, some other forms of racing. And when I mentioned the Indianapolis 500, he went probably.
Yeah.
So
he wants to do the double once again.
Well, he's good at Indy, I tell you. Shame he almost had it won there, what, 4 or 5 years ago.
Now, you've seen this paint scheme in the Nationwide Series, not so much in Sprint Cup, but it's Reed Sorensen at the wheel of the Dollar General Toyota this year. And he is 33rd
And he's also shares a birthday with Darrell Waltrip. He's a little younger than Darrell. He's 24 years old today.
Just to be 24 today. Just for today, you know? Just one day.
David Rudeman pops up to 11th. He's the third quickest Toyota, 48.08.
You know, I want to go back and address something that Krista talked to Martin Truex Jr. and Pat Tryson about. And you definitely come down here. There's Robbie Gordon climbing out to his number 7 car in the top 5. But you always come down here and you walk that tightrope about speed and a good driving race car. And I think what supports that, and I've been looking closely here, in the last 40 years, the history of the Daytona 500, only 6 times has the pole winner won the race. And I think it's because you have that fast race car on qualifying day, but when you get to the race, you just don't get it driving very good.
All right, Krista's with that fellow who just cracked the top 5.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of excitement down here in the number 7 camp. I mean, not only do the cars look good, if I'm gauging what you're saying, they feel pretty good right now, too.
Well, to roll out and a legit lap by myself, to be that close to the top of the board, you know, we sat in the line a lot longer than a lot of guys did, so our oil was cooler. I think we have a legitimate shot at the pole here for the Daytona 500.
That's so exciting. A monster chance here for Robbie Gordon. Matt Yoakum.
And Kevin Bono, man, you know, is all about preparing fast cars for here at Daytona, especially in the past. You've always had some good cars up front row. Bono, looking at right now the speed chart, you're 13th fastest. You might get a shot in with one more run if the rain holds off. What's your agenda for the rest of this session?
Oh, lucky 13, huh? You know, just talked to professional spotter Joey DePilot. He's our spotter from last year, but he thinks that the rain's going to hold off for this practice. So we're going to throw one more run on it, being a little on the aggressive side, just to see if we can go past our limit of our tune-up on the front end and try to get the attitude of the car a little bit nicer. And that's about it. And I believe this is all the practice we're going to get before qualifying. So just see if we can run this package this aggressive and without hurting too much speed by hitting the splitter. And that'll be it. We'll throw a good wax job on it and put it in line.
Now, Joey's not going to invoice you guys for the radar help, is he?
Well, he said last year was free, so...
well, you get what you pay for.
He's a great pilot.
Because it's raining. You can tell Kevin and Joey as we watch Boris Said in the number 26. And it looks like Boris may be the last car on track to get a lap because they have held the line at the end of pit road. No one else is being allowed on track.
Be careful, Boris.
As Boris comes around in the Window World Cares Foundation Ford Fusion.
I talked to Boris this morning, and of course this car is locked in to the first 5 races, and there you see the red flag waving for the rain. Boris said we're going to be here the first 5 races, and then we're just going to have to reevaluate, see where we're at, see if we can get more sponsorship before we move beyond those first 5.
We'll stand by here and see what happens. There is always the chance that this shower will be a brief one.
We're in Florida. You don't like the weather? Just wait 30 minutes.
Brief?
The trucks are back. We're there for the Battle at Daytona, for the crashes and high-banked excitement. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Next Friday, live at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. NASCAR on Speed. Be there. Michael Phelps fuels up with the mega tasty Subway Turkey Melt, a protein-packed powerhouse on freshly baked bread, so he can get to where the action is this winter. Subway, eat fresh.
Feeling free as a bird now. Fly, live. Gonna see the whole world now. Try, live. These days are better than before. I want more. These days are better than before. I want more.
Geico Power Sports. Insurance for your car and the other stuff that moves you.
We're on the road.
road to show people.
We've made a great product even better. Watch.
Shell nitrogen-enriched gasolines clean the gunk left by lower quality gasoline. And all 3 grades act as a protective barrier to shield and protect engines from performance-robbing gunk. Try nitrogen-enriched Shell gasolines.
Helping you get the most out of every drop.
Gunk doesn't stand a chance.
NASCAR's back, and we're there in Daytona as the hammer comes down and rivalries reignite. The Gatorade Duel at Daytona, Thursday, live at 2 p.m. Eastern. NASCAR on Speed. Be there.
54 cars entered for the Daytona 500. You see the 8 listed who have yet to make a run on the track. I believe 5 of those 8 are in line and waiting to run.
Looks like it's a wrap.
The 46 of Terry Cook. But let's show you what we're looking at. Okay, the track is here. Look what's coming. Oh my gosh.
Don't look now, Margaret.
So it may be bad weather where you are. I know in our part of North Carolina, the kids only had 3/4 of one day of school all week due to all the snow and freezing. And I guess New Jersey's getting hammered, and so are a lot of places, including Daytona Beach.
It's a dadgum week too early, though. It was supposed to do that snowstorm next week. Remember, like it did in '79.
That's so everybody would be home.
They had to stay home,
Fox
watch the race,
and watch the race.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's only a week away.
Yeah, it's still not out of the possibility.
Maybe it won't melt.
And now most of the cars are turning around and heading back to the Sprint Cup garage.
Yeah.
As it looks like that's going to be the end of this first practice session.
And all those cars that were listed there, those are guys that they either got to get a good speed in tomorrow or during qualifying, or they're going to have to race their way in. And the thing about, as we look at the top 10 in practice, if you're one of those guys outside the top 35, when qualifying's over tomorrow, you don't care where you're at as far as the order, as long as you're one of the fastest 3 cars of the go-or-go-homers, you know you'll race the Daytona 500.
That's correct, because the way the lineup is determined, tomorrow's pole position qualifying will set the front row. It'll also set the lineup for the Gatorade duels that you will see here next Thursday on Speed. Once we run the duels, everybody will line up where they finished, including the top 35 in owner points, and the first 2 finishers in each duel race that are not in that top 35 guaranteed in. And then there are 4 spots at the back of the field. As Larry pointed out, 3 of them will go to the 3 fastest time trial cars, not yet in the race. 1 spot's reserved for the most recent past champion, not yet in the race. And if he doesn't need it, we fall back to the 4th fastest time trial speed. So there's a lot of different ways to get in this race. None of them all that easy.
That's an interesting little box there on top of David Ruderman's car. They've got they're monitoring all the different temperatures of things. You heard Robbie Gordon talk about they sat on pit road for a long time and all their oils got cool. These guys, they're trying to heat up the engine oil right there. They've got a heater on that. The gear. And then they've also got one on the transmission, and they're monitoring the temperatures there with also, you know, they're wanting to keep the battery charged because they'll run a little bitty alternator on these things, you know, not near what you would need to race, but they're just trying to just anything you can do to help the horsepower with that carburetor restrictor plate engine.
Somewhere around 260 degrees on the engine oil, because when you roll off a pit road, that engine oil will immediately drop. That's oil in the tank. Once the oil goes into the engine, it'll drop down. You'd like to see it maintain at least 220 degrees once you get up to speed, because it will then heat back up as the car runs. But you need to roll off pit road with about 260.
What is that all about right there? Waltrip Operations pre-race.
That's entirely top secret. Krista.
Down here with Brad Keselowski, and boy, is he excited about his first Daytona 500. And why wouldn't you be? I mean, you've won at Talladega. Now you're getting ready to start your first Daytona 500. I'm trying to pump you up. Can you tell? Do I even need to, though?
Well, you left out one of the most important parts. The 12 Penske car has won here 2 years ago, Daytona 500. So no pressure, but they don't call this the Great American Race for nothing. Huge race. very fortunate to get the run here, and just looking forward to it.
One of my favorite stories from Media Day, and it was you saying that, tell me about the time you were in the mall and you got confused for another driver. What's that about?
You know, it's kind of a weird experience. I've never been confused for Casey Kane before. So it's the first time for everything. I don't feel like I look like Casey Kane. I guess I'm not a good judge of character, but that's a little interesting.
That's awesome. But you're Brad Keselowski, and certain people will know that. But yeah, they're worse people to be, I guess, confused with, right?
Well, I mean, I guess I could be confused for worse people. I mean, Casey's a pretty cool guy. But yeah, I mean, just happy to be here. That's the general theme of the weekend. Looking forward to getting started with this 12 group here on a fresh 2010 season, and looking forward to getting Dodge to victory lane.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Brad. Matt Yoakum, who have you got?
And Chris, the rain continues to fall. I'm caught up with the Rain Man from Memorial Weekend, the Coca-Cola 600 winner, David Rudman. Number one, everyone commenting and very impressed with your group's electronics that you have up on top of the roof.
Yeah, that's all stuff that MWR's done in-house. Not exactly sure all what it does, but it does look pretty impressive setting up on top of the car on the Airstream machine. But that car's been pretty good. I mean, we got a couple laps before the rain came, and Toyota's done a great job giving us some good horsepower, and guys have been doing good, getting the cars ready. And so, we'll see how we stack up tomorrow, I guess.
Shot at the pole?
I don't know. You don't ever know what those other guys are holding back, but I'm proud of what we got so far, and the guys brought me a great Airstream machine. So we'll see if we can do it when the time counts, and when it matters anyway.
You said that you felt like your team's electronics box needed one small adjustment, needed one small part. What was that?
I think if we mounted like a disco ball or something on top of it, it'd be really, really cool. But I don't know. It looks pretty cool, and that's just stuff. Continue to evolve things and make things a little neater and a little more user-friendly, and it makes the guys that work on things, that makes their job a little bit easier too, I think.
All right, thanks, David.
Thanks.
And Mike, just to let you know, we already have had one sighting of the Hall of Famer Buzzy Ruderman down here, but he just wandered off.
Now, the track is still available for practice. This session is not over. However, the yellow flag is out, so no cars may enter the track at this time, but they have not shut it down. There's only 1 or 2 cars left at the end of the practice line. So let's go back to the garage and Krista.
Yeah, we were with A.J. Allmendinger, and we were talking a little earlier. I would ask you how everything's going, but obviously you've been at Daytona here a couple weeks ago, and you didn't have to stop when it was raining then.
No, I've been living here. I think I'm going to buy a condo in Daytona. I've been here for like 3 weeks straight now, but no, it's the Best Buy Ford is not too bad. We'd like to have run a little quicker, but the important thing is it's the first time that I can actually look at the timing board and just want to run quicker just for the purpose of running quicker instead of having to count each go or go homer and know where I'm at. So we'd like to have been a little quicker, but it's not too bad.
So are you saying that you sleep better at night this year?
Yeah, there's no chance of Lynn and I divorcing over the Daytona holiday season, basically, because it was the last 3 years just, it's not fun being here knowing that you're not in the race and you have to wait until the duels to get in. So we're a little bit more relaxed and enjoying it, just working with a new team and getting going.
And Darrell was talking about karaoke a little earlier. DW, if you're looking for karaoke in the garage, this is your guy.
Yeah, man. Show me something. Show me something.
He's actually putting you on the spot. But you guys do. You do karaoke in the bus a lot, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it has to be the right moment.
Oh, this is not the right moment?
This is not the right moment, but I've been known to do a little Sir Mix-a-Lot, Baby Got Back, so you gotta catch me at the right time. If DW wants to come over, you want to come over, we'll get our groove on, DW.
All right, brother.
Spot, well, we won't say the spot on TV because we don't want people coming over, but just find me, DW.
And the plot thickens. Actually, that's one of my karaoke songs.
Has he got any George Jones or, Waylon?
George Jones is what DW is requesting.
Is that what he's got? Well, we are at Best Buy, so we can do anything. We can get all kinds of karaoke machines if you want, TVs, whatever you want, DW. You're an okay guy. I'll give you the hookup.
Thanks a lot, AJ.
Since AJ brought it up, let's run down the fastest of the go-or-go homers. Bill Elliott, 4th overall, is quickest. Max Pappas, 17th overall, is 2nd. Bobby Labonte is 3rd. And if Bobby times in, that's good news for Scott Speed because neither Labonte nor Elliott would need the champions provisional. So, and then after that, Michael Waltrip, Joe Nemechek, Casey Mears. So right now the track is too wet to practice. We'll see if this rolls away or is the heavy stuff about to come down. Let's go back to Matt.
Mike, I don't know of any team really in the garage area that has had more asset allocation or mergers, so to speak, than Front Row Motorsports. And Regan Smith, you guys have had a busy winter.
Yeah, we're Furniture Row Motorsports, but we had a really busy winter too. And you know, I can't thank Barney Visser and Joe Garoni enough for the moves that they made during the offseason. We brought a lot of good people in, and I haven't been this excited to come down to Daytona in a long time. I know, you know, everybody's pumped up. It's the first race, and you know, everything's new for everybody right now. And I've experienced that before, but this year it's a little bit different. I'm really motivated and excited about the guys that I'm working with. Pete Rondo is car chief. Ryan Conium is crew chief. Mark McCarroll came on board, and we got some other.
A lot of New Englanders there.
Yeah, we got between New England and Canada. We're like the team from the Northeast right now. So, you know, everybody's excited, and hopefully we can make it pay off on the racetrack throughout the course of the year.
With so many impressive people coming on board, where do you feel like it will help the program the most early on?
Well, we've always had a pretty good super speedway program, so you know that wasn't our biggest focus. Short track program was decent at times last year, so our biggest focus was the intermediate stuff. We really wanted to work on that. That's the majority of the races, and that's where we need a little bit of help. So we've been focusing on that, and you know, we're fortunate to come down here and be locked into the show. That was a good feeling after last year. I came down last year, and I'm losing my hair anyways, and I swear I lost a lot more of it after that week. So you know, it worked out really good in the off season for us with that deal.
All right, thank you. No more sleepless nights for Regan Smith, guys.
You know, Mike and Darrell, he talked about all the different people in place over there with a lot of companies laying people off. That race team hired over 20 new employees during the off season, so that's a great thing.
NASCAR returns with the battle for pole position and a primetime showdown under the lights. Daytona 500 qualifying and the Bud Shootout, Saturday on Fox.
Proud to stand on our own, proud to be homegrown. A familiar face and a name you know. Come on, we know you, we know your needs. We know what being a neighbor means. And got a reputation to uphold. Can you hear it? Fueling the American spirit. No matter when, no matter where, Marathon will take you there.
Percy Jackson, we need to talk.
On February 12th, I found him. Who found me? When two worlds collide, war is coming. one hero, The son of Poseidon. no way, must stand and fight. Percy Jackson, the Lightning Thief, rated PG.
That heart-shaped box of chocolates is everything.
That heart-shaped box of chocolates makes it special. That heart-shaped box is tradition.
What better gift than a heart-shaped box of chocolates? It's important. It means a lot.
Don't give her just any chocolates. Give her Russell Stover chocolates with the famous Russell Stover bow.
Sam Adams Boston Lager is my favorite because it has so much flavor. So I wanted to design a glass that would enhance the taste of Boston Lager.
We did a laser etch on the bottom. Releases the hop aromas. This bulb is for collecting aromas, and there's a little ridge on the inside.
And that allows you to sense the hops as it enters your mouth.
The way this hits your tongue, you really get the full flavor out of Sam Adams Lager.
Having a Boston Lager in this glass was like tasting a Boston Lager for the first time again.
Bill, I like you very much, but you don't have auto insurance. Here, log on to thegeneral.com. You'll get an online quote right now.
But I'm on a budget.
Don't worry. At The General, you'll get a low rate, a low monthly payment, and a down payment for as low as $59. You'll even get instant proof of insurance.
Yep. I feel like a new man.
For the best car insurance rates online, go to The General and save some time.
Thursday, NASCAR is back. We're here in Daytona for a pair of races on the high banks. Be with us as the field is set for the 500. The Gatorade Duel at Daytona, Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern, live only on Speed. Rain continues to come down here at Daytona. Here are the drivers who must qualify. And there are their practice speeds so far. 11 of the 19 drivers not yet in the field, 35 are locked in, have taken laps today. And here's a look at their ranking among that select group. They're separated by just about 1 second. Krista.
Well, Mike, there were a couple races going on today. The race to get out on the track to get some laps in for the qualifying session. And then, David Reagan, you had a race earlier today. Our director, Artie Kumpner, saw you in a foot race. What's that all about?
We're just ready to race. We're here in Daytona. It's February. No, we were just walking over to the garage earlier, and I was with a friend, and he said, hey, I can beat you to those double yellow lines there. And I said, well, let's go. And so it was pretty clear. I think it was a tie. I didn't really see who won. But our UPS Ford has made a few laps on the track. Obviously, the weather is holding us up now. But, you know, it's good to be back in Daytona. It's good to be back in a race car.
And with a new crew chief.
Yeah, Donnie Wingo on board, and so a lot of new faces on our UPS team, and you know, things have clicked very well here already. It was a good January. We were able to test a few times, so I feel like that we should hit the ground running, and if we can just get the weather to cooperate a little bit, we need a few more laps, but regardless, everything's going good so far.
All right, thanks, David. Matt?
Krista, one driver came up a little bit short with the weather, as Boris said. You got one lap in, and then the rain hit.
Yeah, but I'm not worried at all because thanks to Jamie McMurray, we got a really good parking space and we have the points. So, you know, our Window World Cares car is really, I mean, we're locked in the show doing that one lap, and I have no pressure at all. I just hope we can get a little more practice to, you know, get the thing tuned up for qualifying. But, you know, we got a really good sponsor, Window World Cares. They're raising money to help the St. Jude's Children's Hospital, so that's great. And this is Bill Jenkins' first race with Latitude 43. He's a new team owner, and I'm sure he's excited back at home watching.
When you think back to all the history that you have in auto racing, do you ever think back to July 2006 with about 2 laps to go and coulda, woulda, shoulda?
Yeah, I mean, we got the pole that weekend, and that was really special. But to be leading those last 10 laps and then your old buddy Smoke passing me with 2 to go, it was still, you know, to finish 4th. When Tony was doing donuts in the grass, I almost went over there to do a few donuts because I felt like I won. It was a really good feeling. But ever since then, you know, I came back a year later, and we were on the pole until rain canceled qualifying. So here it is raining again. So I have bad luck with the weather. But, you know, this year, thanks to Jamie McMurray in the 2016, we're locked in the show. So I don't have that same pressure that, you know, people like Max Pappas and Joe Nemechek have to go through this week.
And, Mike, we were talking about the weather. If it was about 45 degrees cooler, we could actually pull out the bobsleds and go bobsledding.
Yeah, you know what else, Maddie? Looks like Boris is having a pretty good hair day.
Yeah. DW says you're having a really good hair day, by the way.
Yeah, it's a little frizzy, but I'm using different products, so I'm not worried about it. And speaking of bobsleds, next week, the U.S. Olympic team going for the gold in 2-man. You better watch.
In the Bodine bobsleds, Boris is a past champion of the Bodine Bobsled Challenge put on by Wheeling Engineering, and his father was on the 1952 U.S. Olympic bobsled team.
Say, Harvick didn't even have to send stuff to get out of the rain.
Hair products. Not sure about it.
NASCAR's back, and we're there in Daytona as the hammer comes down and rivalries reignite. The Gatorade Duel at Daytona, Thursday, live at 2 p.m. Eastern. NASCAR on Speed. Be there.
Once we're clear for takeoff, our flight time to Vancouver will be 2 hours and 15 minutes.
This winter, the world's greatest athletes are coming to Canada, along with 2 of gaming's greatest superstars. Use your Wii Balance Board or play with up to 4 friends in over 25 events. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games. Available now. Rated E for everyone.
Looks like we're going to be a little delayed taking off today.
Today, an American tradition is renewed as Speed sets the stage for Daytona's biggest events. The Hershey's Milk and Milkshake Speed Weeks at Daytona. Coverage continues today. NASCAR on Speed. Be there.
Guys. Dear Mrs. Crandall, it's easy to get so busy we can forget there are others who need our help.
Let's work on your reading, okay?
You can see.
Vanessa, you're next.
At the seashore, you can learn about the tides, the seagulls, and the beach.
By taking the time to help my daughter read, you've become her hero and mine.
Make a difference. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Hi, may I help you?
Yes, I hear Progressive has lots of discounts on car insurance. Can I get in on that?
Are you a safe driver?
Yes.
Discount. Do you own a home?
Yes.
Discount. Are you gonna buy online?
Yes.
Discount. Isn't getting discounts great?
Yes!
There's no discount for agreeing with me.
Yeah, I got carried away.
It happens to me all the time.
Helping you save money. Now that's Progressive. Call or click today.
Excitement for you across the Fox family of networks. Daytona 500 qualifying is tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. And tomorrow evening, the first big stock car competition of the new year, the Budweiser Shootout, 8 p.m. on Fox. 24 cars go at it for 25 and then 50 laps. Thursday, the Gatorade Duel at Daytona, 2 o'clock right here on Speed. And the Great American Race, Valentine's Day, noon Eastern Time on Fox.
You know, at Bud Shootout practice last night, wild and crazy as it was, and talking to several of different drivers, it was what we kind of suspected. The closing rate is so much faster than what they had here last year or even at Talladega, that some of the drivers kind of felt like that. Even said you're closing so fast and you let off the throttle, but the guy behind you doesn't. And so he's shoving you right up into somebody. So I think that had a lot to do with what happened yesterday. Hope it doesn't have a lot to do with what might happen tomorrow night, but it
hope
could.
You're right.
It could.
Krista.
Well, Mike, there's always those feel-good stories down here at Daytona, and we found it in terms of the company. It's not even a company. It's not a sponsor. It's a personal cause for Mike Wallace. Tell us a little bit about Double Harvest.
Well, Double Harvest, you can go to doubleharvest.org. It's a humanitarian relief group in Haiti. My daughter, Lindsay Wallace Van Wingerden now, got married into the Van Wingerden family back in November. And the Van Wingerdens have had a presence over in Haiti for 30 years on a humanitarian side. And ever since the earthquake hit and the tragedy, it's just been 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just, you know, the hospital that they have on the grounds, the school, the church. And the Van Wingerdens themselves have funded this program for 30 years now. And now it's time, we need some financial help. We need some, so I had a couple uniforms made. As I said, this is not a sponsor. This is a...
You've seen this hospital firsthand before the earthquake. You've been to Haiti.
I was at Haiti last year with Tom Van Wingerden, yep. And the hospital's wonderful. The area around there, where Port-au-Prince, where the earthquake actually hit, is not too great, and it's really bad now. And anybody that's wanting to donate and thinking about Haiti, we've heard all the causes. Don't forget about it. It's still a crisis over there. And, you know, so doubleharvest.org, and money well spent. Hey, check out the back.
Yeah, we're going to not just tell you the website. We're going to actually show it to you, doubleharvest.org. That's just one of the stories going on down here at Daytona. What's the latest breaking story in the Wallace family?
Latest breaking story, I was just told 2 hours ago. I guess it's been announced on the new NASCAR Twitter page that Chrissy Wallace, my daughter, even though she lives at home, I just found out she's running the nationwide race here next weekend for Rick Ware, so I'm excited about that. They gave me all the facts. She makes the race. It'll be the first time four family members have ever run in a race. You know, just some exciting things. I'm down here driving a Sprint Cup car for Brian Keselowski, the 92 car. And I know I'm going to have to race my way in through the 150, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm up for that challenge. And, you know, all the guys over at East Bay, I'm supposed to be doing some dirt track coverage tonight. I was there last night and seen a great race with Scott Bloomquist and Earl Pearson winning at the end. But other than that, not much happening here.
Not much at all. We'll get that 92 car in the field so that we can raise some money for Double Harvest.
Congratulations. You got married, I understand.
Look at you. You just snuck that in there, didn't you? Well, congratulations to your daughter.
Thank you very much. Look, everybody remember, all this racing stuff, this is a good cause.
There it is, doubleharvest.org. Thank you very much, Mike.
And Mike, Larry, I was talking to Rick Hendrick this morning. It's incredible what Rick's organization has done as well. It's amazing how you saw the special on Speed I think it was a week or so ago. Rick has sent airplanes, helicopters, flown in doctors. His organization has brought out orphans through Samaritan's Purse. Just one of the greatest things I think that he's probably ever done. He's such a humanitarian, and it's just a great job over there helping those folks out.
We're under a rain delay in pre-qualifying practice for the Daytona 500.
Bull Run. One hell of a ride. This February, exclusively on Speed. The Castro Engine Block, Saturday and Sunday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. Eastern.
There's a reason for the sunshine sky, and there's a reason why I'm feeling so high. Must be the season.
You get more power and more space. The world gets fewer smog-forming emissions. The third-generation Prius. It's harmony between man, nature, and machine.
Where I come from, synthetic oils are all the same.
Think with your dipstick, Jimmy! Think with your dipstick. Upgrade to Castrol Edge. With 8 times better wear protection than Mobil 1.5 W30, it's more than just oil. It's liquid engineering.
Would you like to spend a little more time and a little less money? Then check out Bass Pro Shops for great deals on great gear. Save 20% on original strand fishing line, and the Garmin Nuvi 255W is only $149.94.
Speech presentation of NASCAR Sprint Cup practice is brought to you by Marathon, fueling the American spirit. By Hershey's Milk and Milkshakes. Try a new way to indulge in Hershey's. And by Toyota, moving forward. Dale Earnhardt Jr. atop the leaderboard. 3 of the 4 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolets in the first 3 spots, then Bill Elliott's Ford and Robbie Gordon's Toyota. Let's join Krista in the garage.
Yes, we've caught up with Michael Waltrip driving not the 15. We were confused a little earlier. It's the 51 because we didn't want to get that turned around.
Well, I wanted to honor Dale, and you know, I won and did so well in the 15. I like having those memories and left like they are. So we put 51 on this one. It's got a flat paint scheme on it. I think it makes the Napa jump off there better. And I got a new sponsor, Tums. And you know, when we started MWR, I ate a lot of those. We struggled.
You ate them like lunch, like that was just a food source for you.
Well, they're a good source of calcium. I kept telling myself when I was eating them, but today's more relaxed. We're competitive enough to think we can get one of those top spots for guys that aren't locked in the race, and got a couple cars up on the other end of the garage we think we know can win the race, so pretty happy.
Aren't you just amazed at how Michael Waltrip Racing, your organization, has changed just in the short time you've been in existence?
Has it been a short time?
It's been a short time, yeah.
Feels almost like an eternity, but I'm real proud of my team. Bobby Kennedy, Ty Norris, they were there when we started. Then Cal came in, and we brought in Rodney, and now Pat Tryson. Got to work with Pat last night on my shootout car, and that was incredible, just listening to him and sciencing through what we were doing. So I'm talking slow too, Krista, because you said you wouldn't run off. Usually when I do one of these interviews, I get in this speed right here because I want to make sure I get in everything I have to say. And today it's sort of nice just chatting with you.
Well, we would wish your brother a happy birthday, but we're going to throw over to the other side of the garage to Matt Yoakum. So go ahead. Can you throw it to Matt?
Yeah. Hey, man, I want to tell Darrell happy birthday, and take it away, bud.
Absolutely. Happy 29th birthday, DW. Don't look a day over 27. Catching up with Brian Vickers. You made the chase last year early on here in practice. We've got some rain now, but how was your car?
Does it matter?
Not really.
Yeah, our car has a lot of downforce in it, so it's not really a qualifying car. We didn't expect to come down here and sit on the pole. We're just trying to make it drive good. It's okay. You know, our teammate Scott, you know, he's more for speed, and that's you know, our focus has really been on getting him in the race or locked in and qualifying ideally. But it's good to be back at the racetrack. I got to tell you, it feels fun to be back in a race car going 200 around Daytona.
Now, you know, it's DW's birthday, and I know last year you jumped on board of a very fun activity, jumping out of airplanes, parachuting. Do you think maybe you could take DW up as a birthday present and take him parachuting?
I would absolutely love to throw him out of an airplane. Happy birthday. That'd be great. If he's willing to jump, then he can come with us. Red Bull has one of the best skydiving teams in the world. They taught me how to skydive, and I loved it. I've got like 30 jumps. I'm hooked. I can't wait to go again. If you're feeling frisky, let's go.
Well, DW, you know, we do have a couple off days on Monday and Tuesday. What's your schedule look like?
No, Matt. Don't even go there. I'll go. I'll race. I'll go around a racetrack with him. I'm not jumping out of a perfectly good airplane.
He's going to race around a track with you, but never jump out of an airplane with you.
You know, even with all the traveling that these guys do, Brian Vickers never stops traveling. In fact, he spent a lot of his off season over in Europe and hung out with Formula One driver David Coulthard and spent a lot of time over at Red Bull's Formula One team that's just outside of London. Said he had a great time over there while he was just seeing the way they run that Formula One operation over there.
We'll take a break and come back to Daytona. It's the first day of practice for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series.
NASCAR's back, and we're there in Daytona as the hammer comes down and rivalries reignite. The Gatorade Duel at Daytona, Thursday, live at 2 p.m. Eastern. NASCAR on Speed. Be there. Today, an American tradition is renewed as Speed sets the stage for Daytona's biggest events. The Hershey's Milk and Milkshake Speed Weeks at Daytona. Coverage continues today. NASCAR on Speed. Be there.
I was getting depressed because of all the stress I was feeling at home. Had a poor credit score and the number would haunt me wherever I go. Thought I'd move to a place where my credit could stink and nobody would care. I just wish that somebody had told me that place was a Renaissance fair. FreeCreditReport.com. Tell your friends, tell your dad, tell your mom. Never mind, they've been singing our songs since we first showed up with our pirate hats on. If you're not into fake sword fights, 20 slippers and green wool tights, take a tip from a knight who knows. FreeCreditReport.com. Let's go!
Offer applies with enrollment in Triple Advantage.
We're on the road to show people
We've made a great product even better. Watch. Shell nitrogen-enriched gasolines clean the gunk left by lower quality gasoline. And all 3 grades act as a protective barrier to shield and protect engines from performance-robbing gunk. Try nitrogen-enriched Shell gasolines.
Helping you get the most out of every drop.
Gunk doesn't stand a chance.
Same start times all season long. Same start times all season long.
An American tradition is renewed. Speed Weeks continues in Daytona. The season starts here, all the way from this first practice, the Daytona 500 Victory Lane. Daytona Speed Weeks coverage on Speed continues. Here's a look at the top 10. In fact, let's take you down through the drivers who were able to get on track during this practice session. 46 of them. All 35 of the drivers who are locked into the Daytona 500 did make at least one run.
Saw Bill Elliott, by far the fastest Ford. Remember, he's one of the go or go home cars, and you know, we can say we have the Dodge camp here, but it's pretty much the Penske Dodges, because that's the only team running Dodges, and they are 7th, 14th, and 16th.
You know, Larry, I can remember, and you probably can too, we used to come down here for like 3 weeks.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was almost a whole month of February. It was not Speed Week, it was Speed Weeks.
And it wasn't just pole qualifying. It was, well, if you didn't like your Sunday time,
yeah,
you could go back out Monday. You didn't like that, you go back out Tuesday. And if you didn't like that, you could qualify again on Wednesday.
That's right. Yeah. 4 chances you had to try to improve your speed, which you never did.
Now, all these drivers are among the go-or-go homers. I think 5 of the 8 were lined up to practice when the rains came. They're the group by speed of the 11 drivers who did get on track among the go-or-go homers.
Pretty impressed with some of those speeds, though, Mike. When you think about those teams like the 90 car, Casey Mears, or even the 32 with Reed in it, those are decent speeds for teams that are just getting their feet under them.
So another round of practice is set for later today, but it is weather dependent. And stay tuned to Speed for further updates on the schedule. Wet ever? Yes, it is right now. Across the break, we'll be going to Steve Burns with more from Speed Weeks 2010 in Daytona. All right, now let's go across the way and join Steve Burns.
All right, thank you very much, Mike Joy. Picture tells 1,000 words. Rain here in Daytona. NASCAR Live is brought to you by Toyota. First practice for the Daytona 500 cut short by rain, as Mike Joy just said. A second practice scheduled for 4 o'clock. And in theory, it'll last an hour and a half. We have had no word from NASCAR about any type of a schedule change. So glad you're with us. Hope you're enjoying Speed Weeks 2010 here at Daytona. I'm Steve Burns, hanging out with Hermie Sadler. And Hermie, I guess we need to talk about the reality of the weather, because I'm not a meteorologist, but in looking at the green blobs, it looks like heavy rain at least for a couple of hours.
very disappointing day, you know, for these teams. I mean, this practice session is all about the guys at the shop, the guys that work on the chassis dyno every day, the guys in the body shop massaging these cars. This is the day you find out if all your work over the winter has worked. And for the guys that didn't get on the racetrack, and for the guys that only got one run to see what you've got for qualifying for the Daytona 500, very disappointed they did not get enough time on the racetrack to get it all worked out.
Well, let's look at it the other way, Hermie. Weather does look good for tomorrow. Yeah. For the guys that did get their runs in, we know the Hendrick cars are very quick. Dale Earnhardt Jr., would they want to run more laps before qualifying tomorrow, or are they going to say, we feel okay with where we are?
I think if you look at the speed chart, the guys that are up front saying, we got enough. I don't want to give everybody else an opportunity to work on their stuff. But the guys that are at the bottom of that speed chart, especially the guys that have got to get a good speed and do not want to have all of their hopes, you know, hanging on that duel on Thursday, they didn't get a chance, you know, to get that speed they were looking for. So they are not going to get much sleep tonight. But the guys up front, fine with them.
Yeah, okay.
Put them in the garage.
Let it rain.
Yeah, let it rain.
All right, let's take a look at the menu here on Speed on this Friday afternoon. Hopefully we'll get Sprint Cup practice in at 4 o'clock, but again, it does look like heavy rain upcoming. Another NASCAR Live at 5:30. On trackside, Jack Roush joins us at 7 Eastern, along with hard-charging Brad Keselowski. Larry Mack, Chad Canals, and the boys on NASCAR Performance at 11:30, and NASCAR Smarts right after that. Well, we've got Ray Dunlap and Adam Alexander in a soggy garage area. We'll start first with Ray.
Well, thank you, Steve. Obviously, a lot of guys are very happy down here in the garage if you're up at the top of those charts or if you're locked in the top 35. Now, the good news for Bobby Labonte is if you had to, you could fall back on a past champions provisional, but it looks like your car was awfully good.
Yeah, speed-wise, it wasn't too bad, and, you know, kind of bounced around probably a little bit too much, so I'm not sure, obviously, we're going to get out today anymore, but Doug's going to work on making a couple changes on it, but really excited about, you know, rolling off the truck after the off-season changes that have been made, and you know, glad that these guys did a great job, obviously, and got our TaxSlayer.com Chevrolet running pretty good for one lap at least. So, you know, obviously we're working on that for the weekend, and then we'll worry about handling next week.
The Daytona 500 is such a big deal, Bobby, and we put so much emphasis into this race. But take a look at the big picture for 2010 and what you guys have set for expectations.
Well, I mean, there is a lot of things that's, you know, I think it's going to be good for us. We've got some race cars back at the shop that are really good RCR cars that they bought from them last year, and we got ECR engines that are really good, and obviously with Doug and his guys on board, you know, I think that you know, it's a small start-off process, but Kevin and Deborah have done a great job, and they're further ahead than they thought they would be at this point in time. So we're down here, you know, locked in the field through a champions provisional, so we don't have to worry about that. And I think we got some really good race cars and really great people. So, you know, if we just keep our head on straight and do the right things, we should be okay.
Glad to hear that. And they're very fast, guys, on 18th on the speed chart earlier today. Adam?
And just in front of him is Max Pappas. 17th on the board is where the 13 car registered in that first practice session of the weekend. And Max, you're one of the drivers that fits into that go or go home category. Second of that group in practice session number 1. So what's your confidence level?
The Geico Toyota ran really well. We definitely stepped up our game. We got something in our sleeves that we can go, and I mean, I was really impressed. For the first run, you know, we were competitive, we ran smooth, and guys, I know that they have something more for me, so I keep my finger crossed. I don't want to say too much, because every time I say things change, so let's wait and see.
It wasn't long ago that you were test driving and banging on doors trying to have the opportunity to drive a NASCAR Sprint Cup car on a nearly full-time basis. Now 20 races on the schedule for 2010. How special is this time in your career?
Step by step, my goals and my dreams are coming through. And that's thanks to Geico and thanks you know, to everyone that has been supporting me. I feel that I had a dream. I pushed as hard as I could to make my dream coming through, and things are coming. You know, second year, more experience, good people around me, and I really feel that we're here to stay. You know, I think the Geico program is growing. I feel a lot of confidence in what we're building here, a lot of enthusiasm, good people, good attitude, and a lot to prove. And looking forward for this year.
Steve, you can feel the energy from Max Pappas. In addition to those 20 Sprint Cup races in 2010, he will also drive in the Camping World Truck Series 8 times this season. Should be fun to watch.
Thank you very much, Adam. And Hermie Sadler, if enthusiasm counts for anything, Max Pappas's dreams will, in fact, come true. I love his passion.
I tell you, the passion and a great attitude. I spent some time with Max out in California during the Fontana weekend last time we were out there, and he was just talking about what a slap in the face NASCAR Sprint Cup racing has been, because he's been so good and he's so talented, but he's got a great attitude. He said, we've got to learn. I've got to learn. And glad to see him back for 20 races, and maybe they can get a few more in there, but he's good for the sport.
I'm curious, Hermie. He said he had something up his sleeve. Well, the team did.
What? If I said that on TV, my team would be over there ripping my sleeves off.
That's
so,
right.
You know, the driver here depends on the crew, and that's what the crew chief will do. They'll say that to make you feel good. They'll say, we got a little more for you. And the problem is then for the 13 team, they better deliver that to Max tomorrow, because he's going to be expecting it.
Yeah, because Larry Max says you got what you got when you unload here.
That's right.
All right, we'll find out tomorrow morning. Weather does look good for tomorrow. Meanwhile, continues to rain here at Daytona International. Hope all you folks in the Mid-Atlantic are covered up and cozy and warm. We know it's snowing. We're glad you're with us.
NASCAR Live is presented by Toyota, moving forward. Brought to you in part by Atlanta Motor Speedway. Come see how NASCAR's big boys play Capture the Flag at Atlanta Motor Speedway, March 5th through the 7th. And by Hershey's Milk and Milkshakes. Try a new way to indulge in Hershey's.
Could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance? Did the cavemen invent fire? Could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance? Is Ed too tall, Jones too tall?
Valentine's Day, a tradition that lets us show our love to those closest to us. This Valentine's Day, give the sweetest of American traditions, the Whitman Sampler Heart. Whitman's, an American tradition since 1842.
He sure is working up an appetite up there. Bet you guys are too. How about some hamburger helper?
Cheeseburger Mac. How about some after the show?
Hamburger helper! 1 pound, 1 pan, 1 tasty meal!
Oh yeah, so smooth. Energy drink. Sweet. Feeling.
Do big fizzy, sugary energy drinks leave you feeling uncomfortable? Then try 5-Hour Energy. It has 0 sugar, only 4 calories, and comes in a small, non-belch inducing size. 5-Hour Energy. Hours of energy now, no belch later.
Same start times all season long. Same start times all season long.
Are you an amateur that should be a star with talent that's ready to explode? Well, Fast Track to Fame is just for you. It's the new traveling talent variety show on Speed. Each week, real people just like you compete for the chance to win cash, prizes, fame, and glory. Where do we sign up? Auditions are being held this Saturday in Burbank, California at Theater Banshee from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. For more information, call 877-909-3883 or email fasttracktofame2010@gmail.com. Yes, sir?
Me.
I think Hermie's all ready.
Me.
He's all ready.
I'm ready.
All right, let's go to the garage, and Adam Alexander has Clint Boyer.
Yeah, Steve, we are all thankful for different things during Speed Weeks. I'm thankful that Clint Boyer has a very large umbrella because it's raining hard right now. 10th quick in the opening session of the weekend. Are you guys about where you thought you'd be at this stage?
Yeah, I think so. Shane was excited. That's pretty much, we ran the lap that he thought we would run, and so far so good for the Cheerios Hamburger Helper Chevrolet. I'm excited about the year. It's always fun to get down here to Daytona and get everything going, but the car looks great, and I think it's going to be a good weekend.
RCR's got a rich tradition on qualifying day at Daytona, so what is the anticipation like in your camp as we get ready to go for the pole tomorrow?
Well, everybody's worked their tails off for qualifying day, and especially, the 500, such an important race for us. But, the cars are all running good. The motors are strong. Just proud of everybody back at the shop, and then definitely in the engine shop.
They're telling me to wrap. Are you taking your umbrella with you when you go?
Yes, you're on your own from here on out.
Good luck, Clint. We'll see you. Clint Boyer, one of the drivers to watch tomorrow during qualifying, and yes, Stevie did take his umbrella.
I feel for you, Adam. Hermit, in Caddyshack, when Carl Spackler says the heavy stuff won't be here for quite some time.
That's right.
It's here.
It's here.
The heavy stuff
is
here.
This is not a clearing up shower.
No, the yellow blob inside the green blob is right upon us, and it is raining hard here at Daytona. Still no word from NASCAR yet, but, Hermie, the reality of it is NASCAR, they don't have to be in a hurry. They have lights here. And from what I saw on the radar, it's 100% chance of rain for about 2 hours, and then we'll see after that. So they don't have to be in a hurry.
No, they do have lights here, and they realize how important it is to try to get these guys on the racetrack before qualifying for the Daytona 500. But going back to Clint Boyer's interview, Richard Childress Racing made quite a statement at the end of 2009. And if they can come out at 2010 at Daytona and run good, they got some racetracks coming up. They got a lot of good vibes in that camp right now.
I was going to ask you that, Hermie, because we see that in other sports, the NFL, Major League Baseball. Can you really carry forward from the momentum you built in 2009, even though you're off for essentially a month and a half, 2 months?
I really think you can. I mean, especially with no testing anymore, you don't have a chance in the off season to fix the problems you had. This business has always been a little bit of a cycle. Teams go up, teams go down, and we've seen RCR do this a number of times in the past, and they really went to work last year when their season wasn't going very good, and Jeff Burton just got on a tear. Casey Mears had some great runs for them, Clint Boyer. I mean, they've got to feel good about their short track program. Kevin Harvick probably should have won Atlanta, last year with a downforce program. So the only unknown really was what do they have at Daytona. And if they can be that strong at Daytona, they're going to be a team to watch as we get things going here in 2010.
If you say it, it must be so. We're going to take a break here at Daytona with the rain still coming down. Some fans working on hydration issues at the Budweiser Bistro right next to us. That's the way to wait out the rain, Hermie.
NASCAR's back, and we're there in Daytona as the hammer comes down and rivalries reignite. The Gateway Duel at Daytona, Thursday, live at 2 p.m. Eastern. NASCAR on Speed. Be there.
I worried what would happen if I didn't start taking care of my heart, but I wasn't ready to give up taste. Sometimes sacrifice is the name of the game.
Honey Nut Cheerio cereal tastes great and can help lower cholesterol.
I guess I can do this.
Be happy, be healthy.
I didn't want anyone to know that I was secretly having someone else find someone for me. When you own your own business, there's no time to go out, so I went on eHarmony to let them find Mr. Right for me.
Review all your matches for free. eHarmony.com.
Attention all homeowners. Do you want help today?
Are you having difficulty making your mortgage payments? Do you have an adjustable rate set to adjust to a new rate? Do you want to lower your mortgage payments to an amount you can afford?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, call the Loan Modification Help Hotline now. We may be able to cut your mortgage payment in half and help to reduce your interest payment to as low as 1%. Find out what we can do for you today. The call is free. The consultation is free.
We were so worried about losing our home. Loan modification helped us to avoid foreclosure. Glad I made the call.
Homeowners, do not struggle another minute. Call the Loan Modification Help Hotline toll-free. Discover how much we can reduce your mortgage payment. Act now. We may be able to cut your mortgage payment in half and help to reduce your interest payment to as low as 1%. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-943-2974.
401.
Hey, NASCAR fans, starting February 12th, you can go online to enter into Toyota Racing's Spotify Your Ride contest, where you can design your very own Sprint Cup car. Locate the Spotify link at toyotaracing.com and check out the official contest rules. The grand prize winner will see their car come to life at the NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race May 22nd. And, Hermie, I understand that Rutledge Wood is designing his own car, and it will probably debut on trackside next week.
That does not surprise me.
I can only imagine what that's going to look like. Actually, I can't. By the way, Hermie's daughter, Corey, is watching. Cora, rather. Hey,
Cora.
girls. Hey, Cora.
Hey, girls. How are y'all? They're having a little birthday party. Some of the girls on the basketball team there watching Speed and wanted a shout-out, so there you go.
There you go. Hey, girls. All right, into the garage with Ray Dunlap. Ray?
Well, thanks, Steve. You know, we always got to give out some big shout-outs, and when you come to Daytona, some incredible sponsorship down at this beautiful facility. And Robin Bragg, I have to tell you, what you guys have done down here for the fans is absolutely amazing. But today you guys announced a whole new initiative. Tell us about it.
We really did. Our great friends at Hershey, you know, the Daytona brand is so important. We're aligned with Budweiser and Coca-Cola, and now we're aligned with Hershey's milk and milk chocolate and milkshakes. And it's a great association. They're the official sponsor of Speed Weeks. So we're going to say that in the old NASCAR, we always have big old long lines like the drivers always have to say when they get out. We have to say the Hershey's Milk and Milkshake Speed Weeks 2010. But it might be a bit of a mouthful, but we're glad to have them on there. Great marketing partner for us. And that's what it's about. We've got to get our brand out there and associate with great brands like Hershey's.
Earlier today, we did a little simulator racing down here in the infield. You had Michael Waltrip, who did a pretty good job. Trevor Bayne wasn't too bad, but then I got behind the wheel, and it all went crazy.
Yeah, we're watching that right now. I see you better stay behind the camera or in front of the camera instead of in the race car. And
Michael was giving me some advice, and he said you can't wreck one of these, and I think he was fibbing.
Well, look at you there, spit it out. That's great stuff. And thank you, Speed, for everything you guys are doing. And it's a great association. They're a sponsor with you all on the air, as well as Coke and Bud and many of our sponsors.
And Adam, the good news is one of those Hershey Milk and Milkshake things they have in a light, and that'll be good for you.
And, you know, the even better news is that we're talking to Ryan Pemberton, and we're inside the garage area, not out in the rain. Of course, Ryan, the crew chief for Brian Vickers, the number 83 Red Bull Toyota, and you guys were 28th quick in that opening session. But I think the bigger picture here is the fact that you didn't get as much track time as you thought you would because of the rain. So how does that impact your plans?
Well, I think we really come down here only wanting to run maybe once or twice in qualifying trim. There's a lot of stuff that, you know, it doesn't really matter what we do today. You know, a lot of these teams are locked in. Some of the speed is you know, it's kind of artificial speed, like what you do for qualifying really doesn't have a lot to do with you know, how the car's going to race, and some of it will hurt how the car races. So we're going back on a few things and you know, putting it closer to race trim, knowing that we didn't get a bunch of time here in qualifying trim. So, but I'd like to say thanks for coming and see me. I noticed that, like, when the sun was out, you walked by 6 or 8 times. I said waved to you a few times. You didn't even wave, and that next thing you know, it's raining. And you're over here wanting to talk.
You're making me out to be a bad guy. You know that?
No, smart guy is what it is. So
2009 was very good for you guys, making the chase and so many goals reached. So what did that mean for the offseason as you got ready for 2010? What was the attitude like?
Well, I mean, we saw, well, you always got to raise your goals. We raised the bar a little bit. There's a lot of things that we want to accomplish this year, and you know, we want to continue some of the great qualifying efforts that we had. You know, and finish off some of the races that we, you know, there's a lot of unfinished business at a few of these racetracks where we felt we were really strong and didn't get the finishes we liked. And we just clean up our act a little bit. I think we can have a really good season.
I don't think there's any question Team Red Bull very hungry as we get set to put the green flag in the air on 2010, Steve.
Adam, was he implying that he was perhaps just a warm body in a rain fill?
I think that's very much what he was implying. You guys take it. I'm going to wrestle him in the garage now, all right?
All right, thanks. Glad you got dry. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Hermie and I will talk about last night's wild Budweiser Shootout practice. Look at the new flag stand. It's high-tech here in Daytona.
12 screaming engines breathing hard. It's a sound you better get used to, because Bull Run returns for a new season. We'll see who puts it on the line and who's just spinning their wheels. Bull Run, one hell of a ride, this February, exclusively on Speed.
Truckers know towing 10,000 pounds up a steep grade ain't good for your tranny. And when the heat's on, failure ain't an option. This truck's got a 6-speed aluminum tranny and a big old dedicated fluid cooler. So when it's cooking on the outside, this truck won't break a sweat. Holy smoke. Available in the full-size Tundra. The truck that's changing it all.
Are you paying more? Now there's a whole new way to get your abs firm, tighten, toned, and sexy without ever doing a crunch or sit-up. It's called the Contour Core Sculpting System, guaranteed to give you the best abs you'll ever have. Contour is a safe and extremely effective muscle stimulation device, FDA cleared for sale without a prescription, that stimulates your core muscles directly. In fact, thermographic testing proves Contour activates your entire core. The Contour is so effective that these photos show the stunning changes that you too can achieve with the Contour. The Contour Core Sculpting System comes with a one-size-fits-all Contour core belt, electronic controller, batteries, and 1-year warranty, plus an instructional guide and sensible eating plan. It's everything you need to lose 3 inches off your midsection in just 2 weeks, guaranteed. And it's all yours to try for 30 days for just $14.95. There's never been an easier, more effective way to get great-looking abs. Call and order now.
The season starts here from the first practice to victory lane. Hershey's Milk and Milkshake Speed Week's coverage on Speed continues through next week's Daytona 500. Rain continues here at Daytona Beach. Hoping to get an hour-and-a-half practice in for the Cup Series. It was scheduled to start at 4 o'clock. Obviously, that will not happen. But Hermie Sadler and I are going to break down the wild practice from the Budweiser Shootout sessions from last night. 2 practices yesterday. And Hermie, let's go. First practice just 32 minutes in. Contact between Denny Hamlin and Mark Martin. Bunch of cars caught up.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you have 2 guys get together at the front of a pack like that. It gets everybody involved. I mean, we got 7 cars, I guess 6 cars going to a bag up, and you know, a lot of talk about what really caused that wreck and why they're running like that in practice. But you've got, you know, the Bud Shootout is tomorrow night. You've got to find out what your car is going to do in a draft. It's unfortunate it happened so early in practice and got all those other cars involved.
Denny Hamlin, Hermie, referred to it as a miscommunication.
Yeah, I mean, when you're running that close together, and it doesn't look like you're running that fast on TV, but you're approaching 200 miles an hour, things are happening in split second, and you don't have a lot of time to react.
Second practice last night. Top of your screen, you saw Kurt Busch up into the wall. He hit very hard in the 2-car, and a lot of damage to that race car as well.
Yeah, he got clipped here by Juan Pablo Montoya. You can see Kurt trying to get back up in the tri-oval, and Juan Montoya clipped him, and that is a wicked hit for Kurt Busch. Glad he's okay.
Now let's take a look at Hermie, at the guys who will have to go to backup cars for tomorrow night's race. Now, last night they drew for position the Budweiser Shootout show here on Speed, but those guys will have to go to the rear of the field.
Yeah, and the ones that were able to get their backup car on the racetrack, provided they don't change engines, will be able to start where they drew on the show here on Speed last night. So, but these guys don't want to get started with that kind of, going to backup cars so early in Speed Weeks. But the good news is everybody's okay, and everybody be ready to mix it up tomorrow night.
The other good news, Hermie, is Kevin Harvick won that race last year, the shootout that is, from 27th.
Yeah, it didn't. You know, I think we say it sometimes, and we say it too much. It doesn't really matter where you start at Daytona, but that's really the truth. I mean, we saw cars all over the track yesterday. I mean, cars getting loose and then cars pushing around, and, you know, got some aerodynamic changes that NASCAR's thrown into place with the new wicker and those kind of things. And we hadn't had a lot of time to work those things out. So this Bud Shootout tomorrow night is a big race for these guys to try to figure out those cars.
Want to go back to Ryan Pemberton's comments with Adam Alexander about Daytona 500 qualifying. You know, the other thing that these teams are going to contend with, Hermie, is, yeah, you're going to set your car up for qualifying for the 500, but although the track is dark Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, they've got a lot of time to get the cars comfortable. And that's what I hear drivers say all the time. I want this car comfortable at Daytona.
And it's very much a handling racetrack. I mean, you got to be comfortable. These guys we saw yesterday hanging onto the car getting sideways, you cannot do that for 500 miles, here in the Daytona 500. So, and the good news is with this new car this new COT that we're running now, the cars are so similar, so you don't really have a car for the Bud Shootout that's a tricked up, really, really fast car, and Daytona 500 car is more of a handling car. So you can take a lot of notes that you learn tomorrow night and put them on your Daytona 500 car to get that comfort you're talking about, because qualifying, it's all about speed, but when it comes time for the Daytona 500 and the duel, you better have a car that's, as you said, Steve, comfortable, that the driver can stay wide open for the longest time.
Hermie, I feel like we have a lot of good balance in this show right now. We're comfortable. We are dialed in. The balance is good.
You like to say a finely oiled machine?
Well-oiled machine. Some of our younger fans are braving the rain that's not dampened their Speed Week's enthusiasm.
NASCAR Live is presented by Toyota, moving forward. Brought to you in part by Marathon, fueling the American spirit, and by Alien vs. Predator, 2010's biggest multi-species multiplayer event.
Shell nitrogen-enriched gasolines clean the gunk left by lower-quality gasoline. And all 3 grades act as a protective barrier to shield and protect engines. Try Shell nitrogen-enriched gasolines, helping you get the most out of every drop. Welcome back.
Hey, it's me, your TV. How's it going? I unplugged your cable to show you something better. DirecTV. See, check this out. With DirecTV, you can easily program your home DVR with your phone. Seriously, you can set it to record any show with any cell phone from anywhere. Oh, you forgot to record your favorite show? Click. Done. Problem solved. That's freedom, amigo. So give 'em a call, man, and hook me up with the good stuff. DirecTV. It'll change your life.
Don't need nothing but a good time. How can I resist? Ain't looking for nothing but a good time.
Come see how NASCAR's big boys play Capture the Flag at Atlanta Motor Speedway. The Cobalt Tools 500 weekend, March 5th through 7th. Tickets start at only $39. Call 1-8779-AMS-TIX or go to atlantamotorspeedway.com.
And it don't get better than this.
We've secretly replaced these diners' AT&T smartphones with Verizon smartphones. Let's see what happens.
Where are all my apps?
I don't know. This download is taking forever. Is that right?
What is this? Where's my cool phone?
So, don't dumb down your smartphone. Choose the nation's fastest 3G network. It was just an experiment.
When you compare, there's no comparison. AT&T, a better 3G experience. Buy any smartphone after mail-in rebate and get any messaging phone free after mail-in rebate.
Let's talk about putting our best square foot forward. Then let's do more than talk about it. Let's turn picturing it into planning it. Thinking it over into making it happen. Let's say out with the old and in with the new. Let's create some wall-to-wall wow. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Right now, get any carpet installed for just $97. Any brand, any style, any number of rooms.
Well, that tells the story right there. Heavy rain here at Daytona. But we do know that Adam Alexander and Ray Dunlap are hooked up, blocked off, and dialed in. And we start with Ray Dunlap.
Well, thanks, Steve. You know, down here in the garage area, things kind of quiet now because of this rain, but I really love the fan zone here at Daytona. So much for the people to take a look at. Check out this display right here. A cool thing about Jeff Bodine, Mikey, and old DW. Now, remember, tomorrow at 1 o'clock on Fox, we've got Daytona 500 qualifying, and you know Darrell will have a lot to say about that, but guess what? We need to say something to him. Happy birthday, old DW. Adam?
Ray, 2010 began just like 2009 ended with Hendrick Motorsports 1-2-3. Jimmy Johnson won the title, followed by teammates Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon. The first practice session of this season is behind us. Dale Jr. at the top of the board, and behind him, 2 of his teammates. Yes, Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon. I guess some things in NASCAR never change. Tomorrow, the big day, Steve, to find out who is on top and who will lead him to the green flag in the Daytona 500.
Well, Adam, glad that you finally found an umbrella. It was in the last segment, but glad that came through for you. Well, we want to send you now to the Budweiser Shootout Selection Show, and hope you'll stay with us here on Speed as the rain continues. But we'll be with you, so stay with us for updates on the weather.